Actually, across the globe, so we've seen this dovish, ECB, and on account of the news flow there, the cutting of growth estimates, etc. Because of that, we're seeing global markets actually sulk, and the Indian market not too far behind. So down about a quarter-odd% on the frontline indices. The mid-cap index too down just about in line. And, the other sobering news that has come in today has, of course, been on the mutual fund side, where once again for Feb, it's actually the fourth month that we are seeing lowered inflows coming in.
Absolutely, lower inflows coming in, Sumaira. But I was looking through the data you sent out as well. So the SIP flows that have come in are the ones which are saving the day. While the Nifty is on about 40 points, the other Asian peers were down by much more, and the European indices are lower than where the Indian markets are, and we are holding on to that 11,000 mark. So let's see where we go from here, whether that 11,000 mark is held on for the near term or not. First up, all the top stories, and let me get cracking on answering your stock related queries. Draghi's dovish tone drags down the global markets. Indian markets too trade near the lows of the day. Mid-cap index trades in line.
It's the fourth straight month of lower equity mutual fund inflows. Equity inflows, including ELSS, come in lower by 17%. Balanced funds continue to see outflows now for the second straight month.
So, rude shock for investors. Allegations arise that the exchanges set an incorrect base price for the listing of Arvind Fashion. According to ShareSwap, base price wrongly set at 311 rupees versus brokerage expectations of a listing of 1,200 rupees a piece.
Tata Motor stock skids as JLR sales drop, led by weakness in China. Wipro's the other big casualty today after promoter entity Azim Premji Trust sells up to 0.44% stake.
The street awaits the NCLT verdict in SR Steel insolvency case this evening. Banks consortium led by SBI set to benefit close to 45,000 crore rupees on account of a successful settlement of this case.
All right, so let's get started. It's your stocks and it's Friday, Women's Day, and it is Ladies Special. So we're going to have only women callers joining us through the day so we can address their stock queries. Also, Shaina Mukaddam is our expert this afternoon, and Prakash Gaba joins in as well. So good afternoon to both of you. Shaina, wish you a very happy Women's Day. Not that we need a day to celebrate, each of us, but nevertheless, for what it's worth. Let's get started then. The first query comes in from Mrs. B. Rupa Devi, who writes to us from Chennai. She has 500 shares in Karur Vysya Bank, which she has bought at 56 rupees. She's a long-term investor and wants to know what she should do. So, Shaina, she's making a bit of money actually right now. Looks like she got in at a good price. Should she remain invested or at least partly book profits?
Happy Women's Day to you and all the viewers and your whole team. I would suggest that she switches from Karur Vysya Bank, something better where I believe the outperformance will be over the next 1 year, something like maybe a Yes Bank, a DCB Bank. I hold both of these stocks. Where Karur Vysya Bank goes, basically if you see what they have reported in the last quarter and the guidance for the year forward, there is a slippage in their assets. In their, if you see their net NPAs, it's almost about 5% now, and the bank has guided for a further slippage of almost about 200 crores. So basically the numbers are deteriorating. So I believe it's better to switch to a bank where there is some stabilization in numbers and things should look better going forward. Even a large cap like ICICI Bank would be a better bet. So I would advise a switch.
All right, there's an advice coming in from Shahina. Switch out of Karur Vysya, go into a larger bank, perhaps something like an ICICI Bank as well. Hope that works for you. We have another query. Ms. R.K. Pal, she writes to us from Kolkata, holds about 18,000 shares of SpiceJet at 150 rupees a piece. A long-term investor wants to know whether to hold or sell. 18,000 shares at 150 rupees. Now the money is almost halved. Prakash,
160.
150 is where she bought it. The price is around 80 rupees right now. So what does she do?
Well, women's special. So I would like to say that hero without her is zero.
Okay.
Anyway, I feel that she should exit. 100 is a strong resistance.
Shahina, your views on SpiceJet, the aviation space, and what should our viewer do?
Overall, I'm not very positive on the aviation space, but what I feel is that a SpiceJet Interglobe benefit from the woes of Jet and Air India. So these two airlines, as we are hearing, are really under stress. And if we look at the yield, if we look at the occupancy, I think the things are improving for the airline as a whole. SpiceJet has invested, is investing, and is looking at widening its coverage over the various local airports, as well as trying to increase its spread across India. So to that extent, I think SpiceJet as of now is better placed. So if one does want to be in the airline space, I would continue to hold for some time. And after having seen that stock move from 150 to 18-20 rupees levels in the last 3-4 years, I think this rebound is reasonable. I would continue to hold and hope things improve. Overall, I think the sector is under stress.
Okay, that's the aviation space, and a lot of people have written about aviation over the years, and retail investors still continue to flock despite the many risks that continue to be associated with it. But nevertheless, Ms. Vinita M is our next the viewer who's written to us. She is written from Mumbai. She has about 325 shares of Tata Motors, which she has bought at 314 rupees. She's been holding on for, she's a long-term investor. But, at the end of 6 years, she's now sitting with a big gut. So her investment is down by about 52,000 rupees. Prakash, Tata Motors, not a lot of positive, news flow coming through on this stock. I mean, look at the numbers recently, the sales numbers as well, very weak. But technically, what does it look like? I mean, what's the upside target that you have? And for a person, I mean, a retired person at that, who has bought at close to 350 odd levels, what is the hope?
She's held for 6 years. She can continue holding it for the next couple of years. One. Number two is that Tata Motors, the very strong support was existing at around 148. We saw a low closer to around 140. To me, I think that's a beautiful place for it to bounce if it has to, because technically it's support. So it should hold. Whether it goes from here or stays sideways and then goes up, I have no idea. But looks like if it decides to go up, there will be some resistance around 230, 240 zones, or maybe 265 zones. And for her, it's a long journey, tough journey, but then she has no choice. She held for 6 years, continue holding it.
All right, held it for 6 years, continue holding it. The stock close to support zones 148. The stock, remember, from levels of 150 had bounced back all the way up to 190. A bit of a cut on account of weak China JLR sales witnessed on the stock today after a massive cut over the last 1 year. With that, we have another query coming in from Amrunisha A, who writes to us from Telangana. She wants to buy 300 shares of Nalco for the long term, wants to know when is the right time to enter the market. Well, she hasn't bought it yet, Prakash, but Nalco, do you think from a long-term perspective, a cyclical sector stock in the metal space is an advice that you would give?
I would buy closer to 40 or now.
Okay.
Either way. But around 40 I would prefer buy, because it is weak, but at closer to 40 there's some strong support there. So that's a place to buy if I have to buy. Otherwise I'll avoid it because it is in downtrend.
Well, we need to take a